I'm sat head of the table with a D in GCSE maths, asking them for £100 million. Even I'm like, what am I doing here? I remember looking at the parking meter and it said £2.70 and I couldn't afford it.
It's just like nuts.
This little bead of sweat dripping down my forehead. Hi, I'm Jack and I'm the founder of Lovey and I am unemployable. Lovey is the UK's fastest growing business loan provider. I wasn't set out to just build wealth for myself. All I wanted to do was look after my mum. I woke up one morning and I had 20 missed calls and she said, I've got nowhere to live. I can't tell you how painful it is to see your mum living on your lounge floor. Sorry.
You okay?
It's very easy to get some success and think that you've made it.
This has created probably more wealth than you may have ever imagined. Are you motivated by money? Hi everybody, welcome to the Unemployables podcast powered by ITV Ignite. We're on our pub at ITV HQ and today we have got an epic founder, Jack Smith, founder of Lovey. How you doing, Jack?
Well, I'm good, mate.
Great to have you here, mate.
I'm glad to be here.
You are looking sharp.
Thank you. I didn't know whether this was a bit much, but
oh mate, no, I love it.
It was very cold outside.
No, you look great. I always have to wear the Phoebe uniform, you see. I can't show my fashion versatility.
That is not the weather. That's not weather. It's not weather appropriate.
But listen, let's get straight into it. We were over the moon to have you in our G100 this year. Absolutely incredible growth. And what I think is so cool about your story is this is a proper building it up from literally the kitchen table, isn't it? You with an idea, and as we'll get into in a moment, out of necessity, you needed to do this. You needed to build this business. Yep. So I think on that note, take us back to when you started Lovey. And for me, one of the most powerful things is why you started Lovey.
I should probably start by saying when I started Lovey, I didn't have an idea or I didn't see a gap in the market, or I didn't anticipate to carve out a category. I just started a business because I wanted to make money. I needed to make money.
And why did you need to make money?
Well, it was. I mean, where do we go? So, my childhood was like a strange Brummy Hannah Montana situation. So
that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So my parents had separated when I was very young, and a week at a time I'd live with my old man. My old man was a successful businessman. He had the big house, nice cars, heating was always on, always food in the fridge. I didn't want for anything. I had always had the newest football boots. I always had the latest bikes. I was very, very blessed. And then the other half of my life, I lived with my mom. And my mom, she lived on welfare benefits her whole adult life. It was just me and her in this 2-bed terrace. The walls were a brick thick. We didn't really have much. I mean, she used to put me to bed in a coat because it was so cold, hood up. But luckily I had a little Jack Russell called Skip, and I used to stick him in my coat and zip it up, and he would be my little hot water bottle.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. So it was a blessing. It's a blessing to see both sides of the coin, really. I saw a lot of struggle, and I saw a lot of growth. I saw what surviving looks like, and I saw what thriving looks like.
And you're very, very, very close to your mum and your dad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I adore them both, and they obviously adore me.
And they're very proud of what you've done.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not short of praise.
So tell me, what moment is it then?
Yeah.
That you didn't go to the traditional route. You didn't do your 10,000 hours in a great big corporate. What was your route to creating Lovey?
Listen, school was really, really tough for me. Just for clarity, I never anticipated to be an entrepreneur. It wasn't in the plan. School was a real struggle. I was diagnosed with dyslexia quite late on, and we're not talking like a sprinkling of dyslexia.
Right.
I was pretty dyslexic.
And how did that manifest? It just complete.
Yeah. It's
just for people that obviously we thankfully we are now in an age where we're all we hopefully lots of us understand neurodiversity. But what is the challenge of dyslexia? What does that mean then, Jack?
So, I mean. At the time I was diagnosed, dyslexia wasn't really like it is now. We don't know, we know much more about it now. There's much more about big big picture thinking, dyslexic thinking. There's celebrities and like business people coming out saying that it's a gift, and it is a gift. Like I am grateful that I've got dyslexia. But when you're a child, it's so difficult at school because you end up being I was end up being disruptive. I was being the class clown, but I was just trying to deflect from the fact that I couldn't keep up with people at school.
So is it comprehension that's hard? Is it being able to understand what you see in front of you? Is that
like the way for whatever reason the way I can retain information is like it's like a sieve. In the way the curriculum was being taught, it's like a sieve. I couldn't hold on to anything.
Right.
Those are the bad sides of dyslexia. The good sides are the fact that I see much bigger picture.
But in that moment at school, how did that shape you? How did that make you feel? Has that shaped who you are today?
I feel at school like it knocks your confidence, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
It knocks your confidence. And the only thing they can offer you is an extra 25% in an exam.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody else is dyslexic or they know people that are dyslexic. The last thing a dyslexic needs is an extra 25. 25
in terms of time then?
Yeah,
right.
25% in an exam because there's only so many howevers and furthermores you can stick into a sentence.
Right.
And obviously that pushed on. Like I didn't anticipate to get a high paying job, or that wasn't written in the stars for me.
Is it because you didn't think it was possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you thought it was just out of your reach?
Just thought it was out of my reach. And it's funny because I sit in boardrooms now in skyscrapers in the middle of London. I'm sat with some of the best bankers on the planet, and they've got quantitative analysts, business analysts, solicitors. They've all got mad degrees in like statistics, game theory, economics. And I'm sat head of the table with a D in GCSE maths, asking them for £100 million. Like even I'm like, what am I doing here?
Do you literally have a moment?
Yeah,
like, this is just
like,
nuts.
this isn't right, and like little bead of sweat dripping down my forehead. I'm petrified they're gonna ask me a question.
But so in terms of at the beginning then, school, it had an impact of affecting your confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you move from school to school? Or
Yeah, I did. I think in the end, the teachers and my parents, the only solution was, I'll move him to a new school. Let's move him away from the distractions. But ultimately, that didn't help. It was the curriculum. It's the way I learnt. It's the way dyslexics learnt. It's just not like the majority of people.
Yeah. So, take us therefore to the point where this went from an idea to becoming something that became real, and why it happened at the time that it did.
Yeah, I was sort of early 20s, and I had a little one-bed apartment to myself. And I woke up one morning and I had 20 missed calls from my mum. She was crying down the phone. And I sort of knew this day was coming, so I beat myself up about it. But half an hour later, she knocks on my door. She had 2 suitcases just full of her stuff, whatever she had left, essentially. And she said, "I've got nowhere to live. I need to be with you." So obviously, I put her up because it's my mum. But I didn't even have, the sofa wasn't even big enough for her to sleep on. Like, that's how small this place was. So, I can't tell you how painful it is to see your mum. Sorry.
It's fine, man. It's cool, dude. Listen, take time.
How painful it is to see your mum living on your lounge floor.
Yeah. And you literally, to this day, it still drives you.
Yeah. And I felt like I let her down.
Why?
We're gonna have to.
You okay?
Yeah.
This is what it's all about, dude. Yeah, this is why you're so successful, because this has just been the shaping of what is an absolutely incredible human being. We knew you were from the minute we saw you. Jack, the reason why we love this gang is because we're dealing with the kindest, nicest, realest people you could ever wish to meet. And that is what Phoebe's all about. And so, yeah, so trust me, this just solidifies what an amazing person you are, mate. So please never, ever apologise.
Okay. got the emotion bit out of the way. Maybe
Okay.
I can do it again less emotional.
All right. Okay.
It was just me and my mum. Like we didn't have any immediate family we could call on, or it was very much just me and my mum.
So you felt that real sense of responsibility because it's you and only you that can help your mum in that situation.
I've always felt that sense of responsibility, and that's why I beat myself up over it.
Yeah, why do you beat yourself up about it?
Because I knew that day was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that day was coming.
So, your mum
So my mum's
arrives at your flat.
Yeah.
And is this a point for you when you're like, right, I've got to do something about this?
Yeah, there was nothing in my life more painful than seeing my mum living on your lounge floor.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
And I felt useless. I was embarrassed. I felt guilty. So I knew I needed to do something about it. I didn't have much. I was working for my old man at the time.
Right.
In sales. So him and his cousin had it's like a equipment leasing business. So I knew how to sell. I knew how to engage. I knew how to build rapport. I needed to do something that didn't have any startup capital.
Yeah. So you need to bootstrap something.
Yeah. And for people that don't know, I started off as a finance broker, and it requires almost nothing to start up other than a phone and some businesses to call.
Gift of the gab?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, maybe I thought I did, but it was hard to get off the ground. So obviously, it wasn't that good. And for those that don't know, so banks and lenders tend to be really bad at originating their own business, their own customers. So a lot of finance products are sold through intermediaries and brokers to give them the business. And they're always looking for business. So I just phone people up, phone customers up, phone businesses and say, are you looking for any investment plans? Are you looking to make any purchases? And then I would pass that over to a bank and they would give me a commission, and I built up some momentum that way.
And so was that the start?
Was that
the start of belief in your ability?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you get a couple of quick wins and it's buzzing, like, sending out an invoice. Like I remember, I've still got my first invoice, 001. Still on a laptop somewhere. It was a struggle. The first few years was a real struggle. I remember about 3 years into it. It was, I was $5,000 into a $5,000 overdraft, and I remember driving into the office one day. I had a couple of staff already. I had 3 staff at the time, and I remember driving in thinking, I'm gonna have to call it a day. Like, we're out of run room here. I'd already borrowed money off my dad. I'd borrowed money off my girlfriend. My girlfriend was a nurse in the NHS.
Wow.
She didn't have a pot to piss in, and she gave me the savings out of a bank just so I could keep the lights on. Yeah, it was really bad. So I remember driving in. I couldn't afford parking. I remember looking at the parking meter, and it said £2.70, and I couldn't afford it. So I knew getting out of the car that I was going to get a ticket, but I was like, I'm just going to have to tell the lads in the office that the gig's up. And luckily,
Jack, literally, we were at the moment of lights were about to go off.
Yeah.
That £2.75. That was
£2.70. Couldn't afford it. Wow. And I remember going into the office, and luckily I procrastinated that day because I was reeling in my head. I was reliving the speech I was gonna say to the lads in the office. Luckily I procrastinated for whatever reason.
Can you remember what reason you procrastinated?
Just because I didn't want to have that conversation. You don't want that conversation. But I'm glad I did, because by the end of the day we'd managed to onboard a customer. It was a decent sized customer, and in finance you get paid very quickly. And we got paid that day, and it got me out of the overdraft and a little bit more, and just kept the dream alive for a little bit longer.
Did you get a parking ticket?
And I did. I walked out. I walked out to my car, big fat parking ticket, and I've never been so happy to see a parking ticket in all my life, because I can afford it. And even now when I get parking tickets, like, I look at them fondly.
Really?
Yeah.
I have never heard that, Jack. That is just a beautiful part of your story.
And I've still got the car. I've still got my little Audi A1. And the people that I was going to get rid of that day, I still work at Lovey. So,
are they?
Yeah,
hey, let's give them a shout out. Who are we talking about then?
So we've got Alex O'Malley.
Alex!
Yeah. We've got Luke Fleming.
Luke!
Andy Bode.
Oh, is this going to keep on
Yeah,
going?
and Eamon Burke,
Lovely. So
top boys.
So they're still with those four awesome lads with you.
They're still here, yeah.
Are they? How brilliant.
God love them. Yeah.
So was that the moment then? Was that the birth of the new world?
Yeah, I think what had happened, for whatever reason, after that day, it just took off. And I think I ended up, when I look back, all I did is stop taking people's advice.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because we're told to take people's advice.
We are, and I'm going to contradict.
Tell me about this.
I'm going to contradict myself later because I do take advice. But in this instance, I just stopped listening to people. Finance is a well-trodden path. We've been doing it for thousands of years. So everybody's got their opinions on how things should and shouldn't be done. And I stopped listening to them. And I trusted my gut. So digital marketing, for instance, wasn't in commercial finance. Digital marketing wasn't a thing. You know, we left that to the people building products and going direct to consumers. And everybody said, "Oh, it's too expensive. Don't do this. Don't do that." But I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to give it a go. I didn't know how to. And I remember I went on YouTube and I watched 2 YouTube videos on how to put a Facebook ad on. And I put 50 quid in. I put my ads on. I'd made my little static image on Canva. Put a Facebook ad on. Stuck 50 quid in. And a few hours later, I started getting these applications come through on my phone. I was like, oh my God, like people want my services. And ever since then, I just was like, oh, well, I'll stick some more in.
This works.
Yeah, this works. I'll stick some more in. So that 50 quid, just for context, this year, 2026, I've just signed off a budget. Our marketing budget for this year will be £10 million. And that all started from a £50 Facebook ad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. So your marketing budget is 10 million quid.
Yeah, between 10 and 12. I'm hoping to keep it into the 10s, but yeah, signed it off.
Wow. So listen, tell us about Lovey then. Tell us exactly what you do.
Okay. So Lovey is the UK's fastest growing business loan provider. We offer business loans to UK small businesses ranging from £1,000 to £750,000.
Wow, so this is the lifeblood of
Absolutely.
SMEs.
Yeah.
This is the S in the SME.
Yeah, and this is an underserved market, and it's always been underserved. And the reason is, I mean, people think the banks don't care. They do care, but you've got to remember, banks are under enormous pressure to lend out huge amounts of money, which is why they tend to focus on mortgages or revolving credit facilities and this big chunky stuff. Like,
yes.
They need to get billions out the door.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when it comes to small businesses, the servicing costs and the acquisition costs of lending to small businesses is really expensive.
Right.
So they're much better off just getting money out the door in different ways. But that's fine. It means, companies like Lovey can come in and help.
And does the company have to be profitable to get a loan from Lovey?
No, not at all. As long as you've got good credit history and you've got serviceable cash flow, we can support pretty much anybody.
So this is really opening up then the ability for small UK businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
To go to the next step.
For sure. And what I love about small businesses is, like everyone's got their own stories. Everyone's got their own fuel to keep them going. I love hearing about them. I can't keep up with every customer that we lend to, but I do occasionally, poke my head in and see what companies we're helping. And what I do love is on our system, I'll like type in like companies like around me, whether it's around Birmingham or Shoreditch or wherever I live, and I'll try and find the businesses that I've lent to locally. I won't go in and say anything, but I just love walking past. I love walking past and going, yeah, they're a lovely customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us what the business looks like now then. So, because I'm picturing you had your 50 quid putting on Facebook.
Yeah.
You've got the 4 awesome people that you had working for you that's still with you now.
Yeah.
Take us to where we are now. Help us visualize where you are now. Because I remember when we had a little chat last week, I was like, hey, that's a big building behind you because you're right in the heart of Birmingham.
Absolutely. So there's 130 Loveys at the moment. We hired 71 of those in 2025. We plan to hire another 150 in the next 18 months. We're about to move into a big 25,000 square foot office in Birmingham, which
that's big.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah. That's
when you're moving into that.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, February.
So we can come to Phoebe Cribs, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So when you get the keys to that in February, and that's going to become like the home for what will be. I mean, how many people could you go to in that space?
So there's enough space for 300 people. Wow. Yeah. And what I do and what I tell other entrepreneurs is I always say try and get an office or a space that's bigger than you need at the moment. It's the goldfish theory. So a goldfish will grow depending on how big the fish tank is. Yeah. So the bigger the fish tank that you've got, the bigger your goldfish will grow. Because I walk around the office and obviously I love seeing everybody, but when I see empty desks, I'm like, that's an empty desk. I need to feel that. That's an empty desk. That's an empty desk. I hate seeing empty desks.
Really, that means there's an opportunity for growth that hasn't been utilised.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like seeing empty desks.
Yeah. So what turnover were you in the 2025 G100 this year?
2024 was about 9.5 million.
Right. So where would we be for the next list?
2025, we've done almost 20 million. So 2026. I'm hoping to do 40 million, I guess. Yeah.
Wow, Jack, how does it feel hearing yourself saying that?
All right, listen, I do pinch myself because I didn't expect this to happen. I'm not here by chance, like it's all being graft and risk. But I do have to take a step back and go, bloody hell.
What have you been able to do for your mum because of this?
Oh, my mum wants for nothing. Obviously, I brought a house. Make sure there's a roof over her head.
Wow.
It's funny because I went round the other day, and she doesn't have to worry about bills. When I've gone round and the house is freezing, she just won't put the heating on. She's like, I don't want to spend your money. I don't want expensive bills for you.
You're like, Mum, put the heating on.
Mum, put the heating on. It's freezing.
Oh man.
Yeah. She wants for nothing, and she deserves it. We never went away as when I was younger. So at the moment she's in Thailand. Yeah.
What, having a holiday of a lifetime?
Having the holiday of a lifetime, and she deserves it. So.
What's the name of your mum?
Lynette.
I hope you're having a wicked time in Thailand. Yeah. Living the best life.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, mate. That's amazing. So with the fact that I'm now getting my head into like culture, because you call everyone Loveys, you've got a lot of your team here, and you've clearly got an amazing dynamic based on the amazing people that you brought with you. Every interaction we've ever had with Lovey, everyone just seems like they're so bought into it and committed to it.
Yeah.
How have you managed to build that feeling of people all being on the same page, on the same journey together? All the cliches coming out here though, but all the arrows facing the same direction.
Yeah. Probably because we've all been in the trenches.
Right.
And I don't know whether it's bias because I am from Birmingham, but there's something about Brummies, like we're just gritty, we just get on with it. There's almost a bit of, stoicism, like we just crack on.
That's the Brummie nature, is it?
I think, yeah, humour, self-deprecating, we just get on. So I put a lot of the culture down to being Brummie.
Right, so go and set up your office in Brummie.
Yeah,
is that
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Right, okay, right. That's a big lesson we learned today. Then that's good. So, but it can't be more than just the Brummie factor, surely, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be that easy.
I mean, I've interviewed the majority of people that joined Lovey. We're always looking.
Yeah, that's a lot of interviews, Jack.
That's a lot.
The numbers.
That's a lot. That's a lot of interviews. Yeah, I did need help in the end. I had to pass on that baton. But we're always looking for a little spark, a little authenticity.
So it's a spark. It's a spark that makes a Lovey.
Yeah,
is it?
absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything that you've really learned from this fast growth journey that for you, anyone watching now who's going through, a similar massive growth? I mean, this is a massive growth spurt. But is there anything that you really learned along the way that you'd want someone to really kind of hear and learn from that experience? Yeah.
So I try never to let perfection be the enemy of progress.
Ooh, that sounds deep.
Yeah, that's not one of mine. I nicked that off someone else, but it's stuck with me. We're not waiting for the perfect time. We're not waiting for the perfect landing page. We're not waiting for the perfect product. Like, we're just getting out there, learning, breaking things, failing, and making it work.
Do you think that's sometimes a mistake then of companies, that they're chasing perfection?
Absolutely.
And as we know, perfection can sometimes never come.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many things that have come through just getting it wrong. You know, if I didn't hit rock bottom and I wasn't deep into my overdraft, I would never have had the courage to go, sod it, I've got nothing else to lose, so I'm just going to stick 50 quid on Facebook. Without that, I wouldn't have happened. I'd have just kept.
So it's been a big part
treading
of your DNA.
water. Yeah.
Do you think it gets easier the bigger you start to get? So you now at a point, do you feel that things are getting more straightforward?
It doesn't.
Or does just bigger problems come?
Yeah, it doesn't get easier. You just get tougher. You know, the problems that I had 6 years ago seem like massive problems.
Go on, give me an example.
Well, not being able to pay people's wages is one of them.
Pretty big problem,
I guess. Not being able to pay suppliers, not being able to pay recruitment fees. To get some of the staff in the early days, we did a recruitment day. So I put on like £150 onto Indeed or Reed, whatever it was, offering this job role, and had loads of applications. And I wasn't any good at interviewing. I didn't really know how to interview. So what we did is me and Alex devised a plan where we'd get everybody in on one day, and we'd stick them into groups. It's like a recruitment day. We'd stick them into groups and we'd give them tasks to do. But what we did is we planted a mole in each table that was already working for Lovey, and then we were just trying to see who's making the right noises,
Smart.
who seems nice. Yeah.
And that worked.
And that worked. Yeah, got some good people from that, and they're still with us today. So
really,
yeah.
Are you motivated to just keep on going, or with the size, is there eventually? All entrepreneurs talk about, the big exit one day. What is your motivation longer term?
I love it so much. I don't even think about an exit.
Do you not?
No, I do love it. I love what we've managed to build. Like it does, and it's brought me so much, and it's brought obviously my mom so much. I owe so much to Lovey. So what's not
really, you feel?
Yeah, I feel that it saved our lives, her life, not my life. I was very blessed. That needs to be said. Like my old man always made sure I was okay, whereas my mum needed it.
So there's a feeling of indebtedness to the company.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm not giving it up easy.
So for you then, there is no thought of the end, it's forever.
We just keep going, yeah.
And obviously you've rebranded, right? We all know that branding once is hard.
Yeah.
Rebranding again is, I don't know, I'd imagine it's even harder because it's making sure that you're playing true to what you've created in the first place, but with the newness of what is needed. How have you found the whole new rebranding process?
Rebranding was pretty heavy. Renaming is even heavier. We used to be called Love Finance, and obviously that's a sentimental value to me, but we've rebranded to Lovey now. What I love about Lovey is, it's shorter, it's more memorable.
It's catchy.
Yeah, it's catchy, and it's also a British word. It's endearing. Hey, Lovey, you're right, Lovey. There needs to be that approachable element in finance, so that's why we chose it.
Oh, that's cool. So it's the approachability of the name as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't easy. Because when we were debating names, I needed to get .com. Like I got OCD, so I couldn't rename it unless it was Lovey.com. And I remember Lovey.com was available, so I reached out to the owners of Lovey.com. They went, yeah, you can buy it off us. $8 million.
Get out.
Yeah, $8 million. And I was like, mate, no one's buying that for $8 million. And they were like, yeah, they are. We've already been offered $5.5 million from some German company. So I was like, okay. But
were you sensing bullshit, or
it was a 2-year negotiation.
Was it?
Yeah. And I beat them up from 8 million. I won't tell you what I paid, but it was a lot less than 8 million. Yeah.
So you got the .com?
I got the .com, yeah.
Yeah. What is it about the .com that makes it so important? I know people say it isn't important. Do you think it is? Do you think it is because it's the original that therefore creates that kind of gravity to it, or does it actually make a difference? I don't know.
It doesn't make a difference now. It doesn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things. But there is a level of trust the shorter your domain name. If you see somebody's got a .com and it's short, it does help with proof.
Yeah.
that you're legit.
It doesn't take a genius, Jack, to work out with the size of the business that you built that this has created probably more wealth than you may have ever imagined. Are you motivated by money?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I'm motivated with what money can do. For me in the early days, because I wasn't set out to just build wealth for myself. All I wanted to do was look after my mom, and that sort of forced me to delay my gratification. Like I could never, when I was building Lovey, and we were getting some success, I didn't have time to like pat myself on the back or admire what I was doing, because I hadn't reached the goal. I wasn't able to support her. So it forces you to delay gratification, which is important for all business owners realistically, because it's very easy to get some success and think that you've made it, but you haven't. You've got to keep pushing.
So for you then, you're always pushing the realms of what you can achieve to another level.
Yeah, and I don't wish that on anyone. Like I actually don't wish that on anyone, because it means it's ambition, right? But in the nature of ambition is you're always striving. So if you told me 2 years ago that Lovey would look like it does today, I'd have bitten your hand off.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you find it hard to believe?
I'd find it hard to believe, and I'd have bitten your hand off. And now we're at that point. You know, the ambition moves, and you know, that's not always a good thing. At some point, you do have to take a step back. But that is really difficult to do. Like, it's easy to say, but it's hard to do.
Have you been able to keep friendships with your schoolmates? You know, people that in the early years. Has your success in any way changed friendships with people? No,
I'm still friends with all the lads from school. We still play football. I'm 34 now, and I'm still playing football with them. Still playing PlayStation. And I don't talk to them about work as well. They know. Yeah, they know. Like they obviously know I've done all right for myself, but they, you know, we never talk about the work. I'm not even sure in the early days I even know what I did, which I loved. That was my escape. Like
really?
That was You know, like all the pressure and all the worries I left at work, and then my mates were just allowed all that to melt away.
Lovely. So your mates from school, still a lot of them today, play football with them, and and that's, I guess, helped you even more to stay as grounded as you clearly are.
Yeah. I mean, thank you. Yeah. They might say something different, but
We'll get them in for a podcast then. Let's get them all in. We'll get the drinks going. You own 100% of the business?
Yeah.
Now that in itself, especially in the day and age in which we live, the need for capital is so great, because obviously the complexities and the challenges of running a business are so much. Is that something that was always really important to you, to have that control? How has that happened? How have you been able to build such a great business and maintain the business?
Yeah, like I didn't set up Lovey to raise loads of money and build some big empire. I just set it up to make some profit so I could look after myself, look after my mom, have a good life. Like that was just the goal. So profitability was always number one. And then on top of that, I just kept reinvesting. And you're very blessed in finance, where your cash flow position is generally pretty good. There's other businesses that do require upfront capital, like, you know, canning bottles or, you know, creating coffee. Like, it will require capital. But in finance, money is one of those wonderful things, because I don't need anywhere to store it. It doesn't go out of fashion. I don't need to manufacture it. But in the same sense, that's a poison chalice, right? Because it also means that my competitors don't have any warehousing problems. They don't have any trend problems. It's just a competitive market.
Hey, well, let's go to that, because if you go onto your Trustpilot, it is off the scale in terms of your ranking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just give us some context on that and how you've enabled that to happen.
Sure. So everything Lovey does is centered around the customer journey. We spend a huge amount of focus making sure that the customer journey is as beautiful as it can be.
Beautiful, you use that.
Yeah, because like I said, like money, the finance market is competitive. There's so much money out there. The only way you can show how good you are is how easy and how stress-free getting the money is. So we put a huge amount of focus, huge amount of money, a huge amount of energy into making sure that the customer journey is beautiful.
And as a result, that creates a beautiful journey.
As a result, you know, we're the top-rated business loan lender in the UK. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So listen, not mean to be ageist in any way, shape or form, but you are young. You know, how many years have you been going with the company? Did you say 10?
10 years, yeah.
10. Did you have to overcome any prejudices talking to people like, you know, this guy's a bit young to be dealing with, especially when you're in, as you're saying, in the pearly towers, talking to some very, very high-powered, influential bankers?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, and I still do.
Really?
Yeah. And
how'd you overcome it?
I don't judge people for it. It's natural. It's just systemic, I guess. You overcome it by, I guess, showing your competence, and you know, it's easier to do now because they can see the success of Lovey. So I've got some credentials behind me now. But in the early days, it was really tough. And actually, when you're a solo founder, it's very difficult to. There was no one to like bounce off or get advice off, or nobody was in the trenches with you in the early days. You're just doing it on your own, grafting on your own. So what I used to do, and I still do, is I'll reach out to people on social media, other successful business owners, billionaires, and I'll ask for advice. I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for.
And they come back to you.
And they come back to you. Yeah, not all of them, of course, but some of them they do. And remember at the start, I told you one of the keys to
don't take advice.
Yeah, one of the keys to Lovey's growth was I'd stopped taking advice. But then some of the most useful ideas have come out from just reaching out to people.
Really?
Yeah, I remember one chap. Again, he was in fintech. He'd set up 2 successful businesses. One of them was a bank, and I said, "Mate, please, can you give me some advice?" And he goes, "Yeah, speak to my PA, book you in for half an hour." And I spoke to him on a Zoom call, and he was telling me, you know, you should be looking at this, you should be looking at data, cohort analysis, and I want you to read a book. And he said, you need to read a book called Predictable Revenue by Alan Ross. And remember, I'm dyslexic, so I'm useless at reading anyway, so I was like, all right, mate, I'll definitely do that. And I didn't. I downloaded the audiobook and listened to it on a walk.
Yeah. And is it something you recommend?
Absolutely. I mean, it changed my life, that book, realistically.
So Predictable Revenue
by Alan Ross, I believe it is. I also reached out to Alan Ross to thank him for writing the book, and he was like, yeah, no worries.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
So that's great. So don't put any barriers in your way of thinking that if you reach out to someone, they're just going to not have enough time to respond to you, because it seems to me like that's been a game changer for you, doing that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, again, they like it. I love it. I love when people reach out and they say, you know, can I have some advice? Can I meet you for a coffee or whatever? I love doing that. Again, because I'm just so surprised that they want to. Yeah.
If you did it again, would you have a co-founder? Or having now built what you have as a sole founder, do you think actually that is for me?
I think, what do I think about that? I've got mixed reviews on that.
Oh, we like mixed.
Yeah, mixed reviews. I've got and ah about that one.
So what's the ums?
The ums is 70% of startups with co-founders, one of the co-founders is always ousted.
70%?
70%, yeah. A certain level, it will be unicorn level. But yeah, because there's always differences. There's always loggerheads. Yeah.
My wife's always trying to fucking get rid of me, so that probably makes sense. Yeah, so I can get this property now, yeah. Okay, so that's the 70%.
That's 70%.
So that's what about the
Yeah, so I think I read somewhere, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Okay.
If you want to go far, go together.
Okay.
You know, I've gone fast and I've gone alone, but I've also got the most incredible team around me, the most incredible people. So I'm never alone. Like Lovey wouldn't happen with just me. Like a lot of that is down to the spirit and the brightness of the Loveys. You go into the Lovey office and you could speak to any of the people at Lovey, and you cut them open, then they bleed lovely. Yeah, it is.
And you can tell that.
Yeah.
Priyanka, obviously our first person that we've, after you just all love it, don't you? Yeah. Listen, Jack, I have got to say, mate, this has been one of my favourite interviews. I'm putting it out there, just because I think the realness of you and the beautiful reasons as to why you created this, for your awesome mum who's in Thailand having hopefully the best holiday of her life.
Hello, Mum.
But to have achieved what you're doing and for the reasons you've done it, we are all think you're amazing and so proud of you. And I guess you're going to be in this list for some years to come based on the growth that you're going on.
Touchwood, God willing.
So, mate, I've got to put it there. Well done for building something so great with such amazing people. You're epic.
Yeah. Thank you, mate. You too.
Cheers,
and Charlotte.
Isn't that lovely? It's last orders, and I got Jack Smith from Lovey. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, mate. Thank you.
Now, listen, we're gonna mix things up a little bit. I'm gonna ask you 6 questions. I want you to not think about it too much. I want you to shoot it from the heart. Let's see how we get on.
Go on.
Okay. Has there been a moment you've thought about quitting?
Yes.
Tell us more, Jack.
Yeah. This morning, to be
Don't
fair,
keep mistake, really.
I get very close, but people at Lovey get me through, man.
Yeah, because I bet as a sole founder, there's been times where just sometimes the pressure that is on you is intense.
Yeah, but we don't quit. Keep going.
Never quit.
Never quit.
All right, love it. What's one thing no one tells you about life as an entrepreneur?
It can be very lonely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And again, I just said it earlier, but especially as a sole founder, you've got no one else initially in the early days I know you've got your team now, but to jump ideas around.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you could do it all again, what would you do differently?
I would have stopped listening to other people and trusted my gut.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Love that advice. Stop listening to people. Go with your own gut. What have you sacrificed to build your business?
I've sacrificed. You know what I miss? I live in London and I walk past pubs at like 3 or 4 o'clock, and I'd love nothing more than just to have some pints with my colleagues after work. Just putting the world to rights and slagging middle management off. Like that. I've sacrificed that. I'd have liked that.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay, that's cool. What's your biggest business fuck up, Jack?
Parking tickets is one.
Which you now love. That was great. Thank you so much.
Good, I hope so. Thank you.
Okay, so it's the Unemployables pubcast. This is a very, very hotly contested game of darts. We've got Jack Smith from Lovey. Woo! Jack, show us what you got.
Give this a go.
Okay, a brummy boy. Whoa. Whoa!
Still 40. 60.
60, okay, right. Good start. 1. 20.
He likes that, doesn't he?
82. Listen, it's the trying that counts. Well done, Jack. You smashed it, mate. Right, brilliant. Thanks, everybody. That was great. Right.